Okay, we're going to do a quick, more official round of hi, my name is, and then give you an overview of the day and a little bit more about LNT. So, if you wouldn't mind sharing your name and pronouns and where you work in the park, that would be lovely. And yeah. And then we'll give you a little bit more of an orientation. My name is Hannah. I am the Leave No Trace State Advocate. My pronouns are she, her, and also a LNT trainer. And I am so stoked to be here with you today. And then beyond LNT, I also am an outdoor guide. I've been an outdoor guide for a variety of places over the last 10 years, and I currently guide for REI, hence why I am wearing entirely REI clothes. So please excuse me for advertising at you today. But yeah, thank you all so much for being here.
I'm Kevin Sutton. I'm he, him. I am the program director for the outdoor program at Seattle University. I'm a former ranger for National Park, Forest Service, Oregon State Parks. I've been around the block. I'm a master educator. And I'm just here to help out Hannah and hopefully teach everyone here at least one thing they can take away from today's class. Yeah, okay, you know that? I didn't realize until you said your REI, we were both fully blued out today.
Yes.
So if you have a question, just look for the Smurfs.
Yeah. Yes. It's like a nice contest. Where would you like to go?
All right. My name is Jane Harvey. My husband and I are both volunteers. The disabled vehicle team. We haven't had very many disabled vehicles, but we drive up and down the mountain looking for people who might need help with automobiles and that type of thing. He is out driving the ambulance this morning. They ran out of ambulance drivers, I understand, sometime during the night, and he's certified for that, so he's out doing that today. We're from Tennessee. People said, why did you drive all the way out here? He's always wanted to come to this area, so here we are. And what else would you like to know?
That was perfect. Thanks, Jane.
I'm a retired teacher, so I don't have a lot of, some experience that probably I need for here, but if you need a book, let me know.
Sounds like you have a lot of experience.
Yeah. Thanks, Jane.
I'm Michael Malk, and I'm a Meadow Rover, primarily at Paradise this year, but also Sunrise. What else was it?
That was it. Yeah.
Good.
So I am Monique Byro. I go by Mo, and I'm the Parks Volunteer Coordinator. So on behalf of the volunteer program, thanks so much for being at our training today. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And more than anything, I am really looking to find concrete tools to be able to encourage other folks to really relay these principles to anyone that they meet. And very excited to have you all here today.
Thanks, Matt.
And I'll just jump in and insert that I'm Kevin Bacher. I manage the volunteer program here, and I'm filming this for other volunteers to learn from.
I'm Madeline. I'm also a Meadow Rover. This is my first year as a Meadow Rover. I'm a retired attorney, and I'm filling in all the blanks for all the hikes on this mountain that I'm still capable of doing, that I've been hiking for the last 35 years here.
Awesome. Thanks, Madeline.
I'm Tom. I'm a Meadow Rover. I Meadow Rover at both Paradise and Sunrise. I call my pronouns he, him. That was the first time I've ever introduced myself with the pronouns.
That's awesome.
I think that was it. I've been Meadow Roving for 8 years.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay. I'm Joe Holliday, first year Meadow Rover from Paradise. Work for the community college system, retiring this year, and hope to be more of the pronouns are he, his. Yeah.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm Tom Eckhout, he, him, and I've been part of the Nordic Ski Patrol in the winter months here for 10 years. and part of the Mountaineers program for 40 years. So I've been in, this is my playground here in the park.
Thanks, Tom.
I'm Matthew Musselwhite. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a general ranger on the east side, so I primarily deal with EMS and search and rescue. It sounds like I kind of lucked out and got to sleep in this morning. Apparently something happened at Eagle Peak today. They let me sleep. But I'm really excited to have this training. I've never really had any kind of formal LNT training. It's always just been learning either from promotional advertisements or just kind of online, that sort of thing, but I have never really had a class, so I'm really excited to learn more in a more formal way so I can better explain it to our visitors and other folks on trail about how to enjoy the park properly.
My name is Sarah Smith, pronouns she, hers, and I'm an Eastside Wilderness Ranger. And I've taken some Leave No Trace courses before, but I primarily learned how to teach it to kids, and I'm excited to learn how to have more one-on-one conversations with people when I'm out in the field about Leave No Trace stuff.
My name is Natalie Matias. I am an interpretation ranger at Prakash. My pronouns are she, her. Yes.
My name is Cheyenne Raven. I'm an interpretation ranger at Ohana Prakash as well, and my pronouns are she, hers.
Fantastic. Thanks everyone. Thanks for being here. We'll be out here today. Planning to be out here until like 12 or 12ish. It's a little chilly out, so do what you need to do to stay warm. There's water here and elsewhere if you need water, and the closest restrooms we said were
It's that building beyond the camper.
that building there. So if you need anything, just feel free to do what you need today to stay out here. And we will have about a 10-minute break in the middle as well. So that is coming, just so you know. Anything else to add about today, where we are?
Not yet.
Okay, cool. Today we want to basically do all the things that you all are here to do. So that's really good to know that no one has any expectations of us that are just like wildly out of scope today. We're going to start with some activities around the principles, and then we're going to finish up with some scenarios and practicing communication the way that we hope you will be able to do with park goers here. Before we do that, I want to give just a brief intro to LNT as a concept and as the organization that we're here representing as volunteers. So LNT as a concept, I wrote down a quote from my Leave No Trace trainer that I really liked. Leave No Trace is a framework for making good decisions about how to enjoy the outdoors in the most responsible way possible. So it's not meant to be a set of rules. It's meant to, we call them principles. And they are meant to, like it says, be a framework for making good decisions. One of the hopes of Leave No Trace and of these principles is that by sharing them with more people, and especially sharing them with park goers, it actually creates less enforcing that you all as rangers have to do, right? Like less telling people, no, you can't do that, that's against our rules. Trying to build a good outdoor ethic for people to make good decisions. And when we say good decisions, what we're thinking about doing is not having avoidable impacts, so trying to eliminate avoidable impacts on our outdoor spaces and minimizing unavoidable impacts. I wrote that on the easel very professionally. So throughout today, we want to give you all an opportunity to take the Leave No Trace principles, think a little bit about what they mean, and then talk about what they look like in context here at the park, in the context that you're going to see them. For Leave No Trace as an organization that we're here representing, it's been around since about, in various forms, for a very long time. It sort of started as an idea of from the National Park Service and wilderness areas, and then it's steadily progressed into now a nonprofit organization that educates millions of people every year through the help of volunteers and partners. Only has about 10 full-time staff, and it's based in Boulder, Colorado. They have about 10 full-time staff, and this year 4 traveling trainer teams that are pairs of people who get to drive around in Subarus and teach about Leave No Trace. Seems like a pretty cool job, actually. Yeah, so for all of that, it's a pretty small organization with a really big impact. Yeah. That's, if you have other questions about LNT as an org, or as like where it came from as a concept, please do feel free to ask. But for the most part, we want to focus on the principles and what you all are going to get to do with them today. Anything else to add there before we jump into principles? Okay. So, any questions from anyone out here before we get you all moving and talking and rating again? If you have any questions at any time, please do ask. We definitely want to make sure that you all come away with what you are hoping to have today. In general, when I teach things, I always read my evals. And sometimes get the feedback like, thanks for gay, I just wish Hannah had talked about walking off trail, or I just wish Hannah had talked about bringing a reusable water bottle, whatever it is. And I'm always like, oh my god, I would have loved to talk about that thing if only I had known. So please do ask questions, and we will do our best to answer.
Can anyone name 7 principles? One or all of them? Just shout them out.
Minimize campfire impacts.
Yeah?
Make a point. Respect wildlife.
Nice.
Wildlife.
Pack it in, pack it out.
Pack it out.
Stay on trail. Is that?
Part of them. Any others?
Camp on durable surfaces.
I like that. Camp and use durable surfaces.
It was really cool to see, like, be nice to peoples. And then, like, as we progress through the day, the goal for me is, as you leave, you will know all 7 principles verbatim. Like, plan ahead, blah, 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 blah. So, in order to get you from A to B, I think we both, Hannah and I, want to know all the knowledge that you already have on these 7 principles. So we can hopefully be like, yeah, you did a great job. Jane? I'm really bad with names. You'd be like, yeah, you did a great job. You got that super well. Or, hey, here's a place where both of us can improve upon. So I think we're going to pass out a bunch of markers, or just put markers on them. And let's all stand up and just do a brain dump of everything you know about all the principles. There are 7 principles, and I think 9 or 10 of us. Feel free to visit one and then move to another. That way we're not crowding the first principle all at once.
Yeah. If they keep it moving, we're going to put, we've got 7 principles, so we're going to put 14 minutes on the clock. So you've got about 2 minutes to spend with each principle, and we'll call out some time checks as we go along. Would you don't mind putting those markers on the back a little bit? All right. So 14 minutes on the clock. Yeah, just brain dump everything you know about
And it
that
doesn't,
principle, everything you can think of.
it doesn't have to be exact. It could be like, I think minimum campfire impact should be like a fire ring of 10 feet wide. And then we'll discuss all the points on the thing. Clearly 10 feet wide is not what we should be doing.
This would be fun to have music, but if somebody could sing. LNT trainer.
And obviously, feel free to revisit something that you have already gone to, because maybe someone wrote something that'll spur an idea for you.
It gets quiet when everybody's thinking.
I'm going to get another layer in my car.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where am I? I'm all the way over there.
Yeah. I'm getting, because I'm getting ready for my leukemia. So I'll have to go to the video.
What is it, Tim?
I started to make a little bit of insurance.
It rained, but not too much. Everything was wet. I put away some stuff on my, picnic table.
Our chip seal process was kind of fun on a Saturday morning.
Understand.
Run back down.
Because thousands of cars.
I see people starting to look around. Maybe we can do just a quick little bit of sharing some of the thoughts or big ideas that came up here. So starting with the first one, plan ahead and prepare. What were some big ideas that people saw?
10 essentials.
10 essentials, yeah, why?
Got to be prepared.
Absolutely. Any other big ideas that came up for plan ahead and prepare?
Look at the weather.
That's a big one for you,
Yeah.
right?
Both ahead of time and while it's happening, right?
I think a good one for planning ahead is like checking trail conditions. So a lot of times people will cause a lot of resource damage because they don't want to walk over a patch of snow that they didn't know about, or a creek that they didn't know about, and so they go off trail to kind of mitigate. But it's like, if you read the trail conditions, my folks, you would have known the snow was here.
Which is such a good segue into the second one. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, doing all that kind of prep ahead of time too. But let's move into the second principle. What were some big ideas that came up here?
Staying on trail.
Yeah. Which would be nice if that was, it feels like that should be simple enough. You all know that it unfortunately is not, but but yeah, big idea there. What else for travel and camp on durable surfaces?
If you plan on going out of bounds of our backcountry sites, knowing how to do that responsibly with staying on the trail and camping on durable surfaces as well.
Awesome. Yeah, Any other big ideas that came up for the second one? Anything new that people read?
I like that someone wrote permits,
Mm-hmm.
which also relates back to plan ahead
Right.
and prepare.
Nice. All right, let's talk about the third one. Dispose of waste properly. Thoughts here?
We're using blue bags, so I know that some of our wicks give them out just for free for people to dispose of their waste when they're out hiking or in the backcountry.
Yeah. What's Rainier's stance on blue bags versus cat holes right now?
I don't know. If you're going up on the mountain climbing, you need to bring a blue bag with you, and we have special displays. And as far as going into the backcountry, some people take them if they want to, but if you're outside of our backcountry campsites, then you can dig a cat hole, but you have to bring toilet paper out with you. And if you're in our backcountry campsite, then it's best to use the toilet just because the land can't keep up with that many cat holes.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I've heard more and more places are switching to only blue bags, and because cat holes are kind of at capacity.
A lot of people just want to use the blue bags, like they're pumped about it. So.
About the toilet paper, can you leave the disposable kind, the one that disintegrates like in an RV?
I don't think so. I think you need to pack out anything but your own waste.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, one of the studies that I've been reading about cat holes is that they're not actually working as well as we used to think they worked. So it doesn't disintegrate quickly enough, and with multiple cat holes, it's becoming a problem.
And fun fact, the original cat hole research actually was co-sponsored by L&T, the organization. Yeah, so I'm not really, I think, yeah, there was some maybe like misleading results from that original study about like how deep is deep enough.
Right.
But yeah, I've read that too, that they are finding that things aren't really decomposing as well as.
Right.
So how long does it take, does anybody know? How long does it take for it to disintegrate?
That's a good question.
Any of these studies say anything about that?
It's evolving still. It's still being studied, but the last I heard is that it's taking years for it to decompose.
Depends on
It doesn't
soil
go away
type
quickly.
also, like yeah, the soil type, where it is, and how biotic that soil is.
How well you dug the hole.
How well you dug the hole. So I think I think that the ideal state was like several months, but that's not true everywhere. Yeah.
I had a student who took, quote, the best L&T poop ever. I was like, tell us about it. And he's like, I found this rock, and I picked up the rock, and I pooped, and I put the rock back. I was like, so you pooped on the surface, is what you just did.
Yeah.
He's like, but there's a hole from the rock.
Yeah, it's not quite the same.
No.
Other than human waste, anything else any other big ideas from dispose of waste properly?
Literally just use a trash can. If there's not a trash can, find a trash can.
Find a trash can.
Yeah, even if that trash can is maybe in your own home. Yeah.
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 And just simply carry it out.
Pack it in, pack it in.
Very cool. All right, sweet. Let's move on to number 4.
Any big thoughts about leave what you find?
Yes. So leave what you find is very big for me. I again am an interpreter at Ohanapekosh, but before this I am a trained archaeologist. And so what I wrote down here is really pertaining to archaeology because I very much like to think of myself as a little detective. And so while I am on the job, really every single thing in an excavation unit needs to stay intact. It cannot move. If it moves, it is what we call out of context. So if you're on a campsite, which happened to me this season, if you're on a campsite and you're checking out, for example, Hanapakash. You're on the edge of the river, it's a beautiful campsite, you see something sticking out of the ground, and you think, wow, I know they used to do archaeology here. This must be something of importance. I really want them to know about this. They probably would be stoked. So you grab it and you bring it to me. Literally me. It was funny because it came to me. So they were like, I have this. It's really, really cool. And essentially, they thought they were being very helpful, but the archaeology team theoretically would no longer be able to study that item because it is out of context. So think literally murder mystery. If something is moved, if there is a shoe print that is wiped, there is something, the murder weapon is removed from the crime scene. Like, all these things have importance, and removing them from that context would then make them unable to be studied. So the archaeologists, although would be dying inside, me, to know what this thing is, I now no longer know and they can walk me back to the campsite and tell me I pulled it out from this hole and it was laying like this, but it is no longer in context, and I will no longer be able to definitively say, okay, it looks like this is actually a backhoe from when the CCC camp was building this campground. I can no longer do that. So for me, this is my favorite principle of the 7, and I'm like, leave it where you find it. And it obviously applies to cultural resources, but also natural resources, right? In the Junior Ranger books, another one of my favorite activities in that, if you haven't checked it out, definitely do, is kind of like a little map activity for them to learn what they should do while they are, it's a maze activity rather. So a little maze that tells them if you're out in the woods and you don't have enough food, enough water, should you keep going on trail because you want to see the viewpoint, or should you turn around? Or the other example is if you find a really beautiful flower while you're on trail and you want to ask the ranger what it is, do you pick it and bring it to the visitor center, or do you take a picture and show them when you get back? And picture, GPS, coordinates, incredible. Phones are really surprisingly very accurate. So really just tell people to take GPS points, take pictures, and we will run out there and check it out right away. I want to. So yeah.
So Natalie, to all of that, how do we as volunteers and rangers really put that in the forefront of folks' minds whenever they come to the visitor center? How do we, or if they see us out in the field, something like that, how do we preemptively take or give them the knowledge to know not to take that resource or item out of context? How do we kind of relay that message to them so they know going in? Because that is kind of a niche scenario, you know, not every hiker that goes out on trail is going to find an artifact or something like that. So how do we put that message out there for folks?
This example definitely would be very particular, but I think you can apply this principle to pretty much anything in any field that you have worked in your life. And if it does not, if you are a wilderness ranger and you can't get someone to understand what you're talking about in terms of backpacking because they've never done the Wonderland Trail, you can, I don't know, chat with them, find out what they have going on in their life. I don't know, they tell you they are a medic. And you say, you know, if you try to plug the artery on the leg, but really it's bleeding on their neck, would that work? No, things need to be exactly where they need to be in order for everything to work. Like, you want to try to just look at the scenario where you're at, depending on the age, what you can kind of make work.
Gotta meet them where they are.
You just have to meet them where they are and find something that you think will relate to them. So I don't know, I could just, I don't know. I'll like see a little kid, and with a little kid I'll try to use the Junior Ranger book and say, if you see a really cool flower, like that example, just things that might sound like they would appease to them. But it can really apply to anything. So it can be archaeology, it can be for biologists, it can be for general rangers. Leave what you find. You just want to leave it where it's at. We're here to enjoy it the way it is.
Don't pick my flowers, man.
Right.
Well, it's like, think about it, like every piece of this park, right, is like a puzzle piece, and it all comes together to create something really beautiful. When you start taking these pieces and like hiding them in your pocket or taking them home with you, we can't finish the puzzle.
Right. That's a great way to think.
I think a big part of it is also educating the visitors that
this is a historic park, and there are archaeological things out there. So like, dispose of waste properly. When you're like, pick up trash that you see, and they're picking up like a 65-year-old squirt bottle. And you're like, but remember, there are old barrels out there. There are vehicles. There are squirt bottles. So like, if it looks fresh, pick it up. Unless it's, as someone noted, it's in a dangerous place that you can't get to and you shouldn't get to. So like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, glass. Oh, squirt bottle.
Yeah, don't even touch it.
Yep.
That's honestly a flawlessly what you find explanation. I will be taking some of that. But
Like,
yeah,
it
thank you so
literally
much for
happened
that.
at the BC. Someone brought me something that looked like a backhoe, which I literally made my little assessment and was like, this is this, and I think it is dated to this, and whatever. So I messaged the archaeologist, and I was so excited because I was so hopeful. Like, the person told me exactly where it is. They're still staying there. We can probably, although I know it's out of context, but they were like, yeah, no use. Thanks, though. We will bring it to the collection, of course. Do whatever we need to do, but it is no longer something that they can study. So, yeah, my favorite principle.
What was that artifact that person brought you?
It looked like the leg of a table or chair, or maybe like a dresser. So I thought it was something that was probably in like the CCC cabin. And then Emma came by, someone from the archaeology team, and she also thought it was kind of like a leg from some kind of like table or something. So something CCC era.
Very sweet. Yeah.
Covered.
Covered. Thank you so much, Natalie, and everyone. Let's move on to minimize campfire impacts. Do we have any amazing, inspiring stories about this?
Drown your campfire and stir the soup.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great big idea there. I was gonna ask more, but we'll have more time to dig into it. Any other big ideas that people want to pull out from this principle?
Well, at the park, like using local wood is a requirement.
What do you mean by local?
Local sourced from the area outside of the park.
I think it's a, what is it, 50-mile radius?
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. 50.
And do you allow gathering of dead, down, detached, dinky, distant?
No.
No.
No gathering. Okay.
You don't want to use the resource you're trying to enjoy.
Agreed? Yeah.
Very nice.
That is what I wrote.
What's the what's the elevation limit for fires? Most places are 5,000, 5,500 feet, no fires above that area because it's considered subalpine. Is there a park policy on twiggy stoves?
Yeah, that you can't use it in the backcountry.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's like a little, it's a stove where you make like a mini campfire in the bottom of it. And it's supposed to so people don't have to bring fuel out with them, but that's considered a fire still, like uses a propane stove.
It still produces an ash and an ember that could escape, create a fire. It also uses the resource because you have to gather the little twigs. There's someone right over here that's actually using one this morning. I was like, oh, I've never seen one in person. Cool. Sorry to derail her.
Is there a requirement on the firewood that you buy outside to be certified?
Mo?
It has to be gathered within 50 miles.
Well, our experience in the Great Smoky Mountains, the firewood has to have been heat treated, so there's no bugs.
Yeah.
And so you just can't bring in wood, you chop wood at home and you pile on your truck and you come to this park, you can't do that. And so most of the time these are bought at merchants that certify that wood has been heat treated.
If I had to guess, just by guessing, I would say that the policy's been written, but it's probably not entrance rangers aren't like, do you have any wood on board? Where did you get your wood? Did you chop it at home? Do you live 50 miles away? So it's probably a policy that's been written that we just hope the visitors adhere to.
That's a good question for the concession person, because since she is allowing that concessionaire to sell firewood, for example, on our campsites, they might know if if the wood needs to be fire treated. But from what I hear in the campsite, we essentially ask people to try to bring wood within a 50-mile radius so that if there are other species of plants and animals and all kinds of things on the wood, it is at least local-ish instead of being brought from Florida.
Like invasive stuff.
Invasive
versus
species,
native.
exactly.
Yeah, I've never heard of it being enforced or tracked. So. Principle 6, respect wildlife. Any big things that...
Stay 100 yards away from bears.
I can't
Do
get a
not
photo?
approach the bears.
I can't get a photo.
No, you can take a photo 100 yards away. You can do a selfie like this, or you can take it like that. But please do not get close to them.
They're so cute.
Yes, bears are cute. That's why you want to take pictures of them. But they don't like to be petted. They will punch you in the face.
How about chipmunks?
Chipmunks are great. Please do not feed them ever. Or the marmots. Please do not feed the wildlife.
And how does all of that tie into the idea of respecting the wildlife? Besides not getting punched in the face.
So you don't like whenever people come in your personal space? That's also true for the wildlife.
Right, this
The
is their
wildlife
home.
likes to be left alone and likes to hang out with other bears or other elk or bison or moose if that's the case, but they don't do well with humans. They don't like you. Yeah.
This is their home, we're the visitors.
Yes,
Right.
we are the visitors in their home and their environment.
And this goes for both the charismatic megafauna, so bear, goat, moose, elk, but also the little ones like raccoons, mice, chipmunks, squirrels. And I mean, what's, other than our mere presence, what's the biggest thing we do in the backcountry that affects animals? Food. Whether we drip little bits from our dinner or we store it improperly. I can't tell you how many mice I've had to punch off my bag at night because I didn't hang my stuff correctly. So, yeah.
Do y'all know the rule of thumb? If you put your thumb out and you cannot cover the entire animal with your thumb, you're too close.
Last one, number 7. Be considerate of others. Any overall themes?
The wilderness kind of belongs to everyone. So you just need to be considerate of when you are recreating, to not really interrupt other people's interaction with the wilderness, because some people are coming to have a party at a picnic in a nice place for a baby shower, and other people are coming to hear the pristine quiet and little birds chirping and all kinds of stuff like that. And so you just need to think about others. You are not the only one in the woods.
Nobody wants to listen to your music on your Bluetooth speaker.
It's always EDM.
It's always
EDM.
something obnoxious. Yeah.
I think with wilderness stuff as well, people forget that it's also kind of our job to help protect other people's experiences, and a lot of people get an individuality mindset when they're out there because they feel like they're the only one out there.
Yeah.
But it's stuff like putting your neon tent right in sight where somebody can't take a picture of the beautiful scenery. That's a big thing that people forget when they're out there camping. Or playing music super loud, or even just talking super loud. Or walking with a super large group and not stepping off on the side of the trail when groups are walking past. That starts to affect other people's experiences.
You know, this is a kind of sidebar, I suppose, but there's such a lack of civility in the world out there right now that it has to be spilling over into the park, and it spills over into the way we drive. So I'd be amazed if it hadn't come into the parks as well. So it's just a constant struggle.
I saw a quote the other, excuse me. I saw a quote the other day. It says, if you're listening to music out in nature, you're missing the point.
Yeah. Yeah. And there are folks that I haven't seen it as much here, but I have spent time in grizzly country where a lot of folks will want to listen to music because it will keep them kind of grounded and they're listening to something to, feel safe in a way. That's a great opportunity to plug your headphones in. You don't have to be listening to it out loud and out around you, that sort of thing. if you kind of need that little bit of outside influence, I guess, to feel safe, that's great. But don't hinder the experience of others by playing it out loud or something like that. Get a bear bell. Yeah, get a bear bell. Your bear bell. Yeah, and just be kind whenever you're out there. You know, we all come to these places to get away from the city or angry folks or whatever it may be. Everybody wants to come out here and just have a good time walking in the woods and just enjoying the nature and their national park and their public land, that sort of thing. And nobody wants to be around somebody that's a jerk out on trail. It sours their experience.
Yeah.
Since this is a lot of area of hiking, the one thing that we learned when we first started hiking was the path etiquette. And the one etiquette that is not observed in some of the things that some places we've been, is that if you're coming downhill and the path is not wide enough to pass, you're supposed to stop and let the people coming uphill pass. But that's really not observed a lot of times out here.
Right, it's not like a written rule
It's
at
not.
the trailhead.
Yes,
You know.
the golden rules are not posted for them to see.
You know, skiers get confused because it's the opposite in cross-country skiing.
Right.
And so if people are skiers, sometimes they don't understand the difference.
Yeah, I noted that, and
Yeah.
somebody put the uphill on trail has the right of way except on snow. When
Right.
Downhill there's on snow, but
Yeah.
not the right of way.
And there's different rules for if you're on a mixed use trail, if you're counting stock use or mountain bikers or anything like that. And of course, but of course, this is all specific to what you all will see in the park. So as we've gone through these, I know that Kevin and I haven't jumped in to add too much. Everything that you've written down is what these principles are. I did bring these little cards that I sometimes carry with me that are sort of cheat sheet cards for the Leave No Trace principles, and I'll put them out on the tables in just a moment. There's one that's kind of a general one that's kind of a front country one, and one that's for kids. So you all can look at them as we move into the next activity. But we've got these 7 big ideas here. We've got plan ahead and prepare, travel and camp on durable surfaces, dispose of waste properly, leave what you find, minimize campfire impacts, respect wildlife, be considerate of others. The hope is that these encompass a lot of the decisions that we have to make outdoors, particularly impactful decisions that we make outdoors. And so what's written on these cheat sheet cards is also not even everything that you might see when it comes to one of these principles. And then of course there's things outside the park that fall under these principles that are not as relevant here. So that's part of why we haven't jumped in as much to be like, this is what the principle is, because what you all wrote is exactly what the principle is, and what you've shared. So in a moment we're going to transition into thinking more about these in your contexts here in the park. But first we want to share a little bit about authority of the resource. Yeah, you want to go?
Cool.
Anything to add?
So, I mean, you're all a very advanced group, like clearly by how many things are written on all these pieces of paper. You've also been starting to talk about this next topic. You've been bringing it up. So there's this thing called the authority of the resource, which is the inherent authority that the water or the plants or the animals have, but can't translate into hey, I need to be protected. And that's where we all come in to help spread that from hey, this thing's important. I'm gonna change that into layman speak for all the people who don't know Leave No Trace or who are new to being outdoor enthusiasts. The really fun thing about this group is you also have the authority of the agency, because you have your uniforms, your badges, your patches, your hats. So you have double street cred when you're out on the trail. And when it comes to that, people are more likely to respond when you use both your authority of the agency and your authority of the resource to explain like why a certain behavior could be modified to be better. But there are a couple of like, I mean, these are all called the 7 lead no trace principles. There are a couple of sub-principles that will help with that, including giving the person the benefit of the doubt. Like, if I come across you and you're standing in a bunch of wildflowers, I'm like, oh, maybe you didn't just decide to go trample to get that Instagram shot, but maybe you like carefully stepped across to grab a piece of garbage so that you could get out, and I just happened to come at the wrong time. And like, so show that consideration to say like, maybe they didn't intend it, or maybe they were doing it for a specific reason to fix something that would have been a bigger deal. Build rapport with the person, so get to know them, get to know what they're out here doing. Because once you become friendly with someone, it's much easier to get a message across. Because not only, like, as a former ranger, when you walk up to someone to contact them, the first thing they think is like, I'm in trouble. What are they going to talk to me about? What am I doing wrong? But that's not how you want to approach the situation. Maybe they're new to the outdoors. Maybe they don't even know what kind of impacts their Twiggy stove is going to do. So education in a like fun, build rapport like type of way. One really cool thing that I like to do is do things side by side. So instead of like, I can't believe you just did this thing bigger between us. Like it's this big gap between us that you've physically done to the land. Instead of doing that, what I like to do is stand side by side. Be like, huh, what are the two of us gonna do about this? This is now a thing that we both get to do. And just like, it spreads out the blame, and so it's not like an attack that you're doing against the visitor. And then educate, explain, and teach why this behavior is less desirable, but also provide examples on like, how could you do it better? And that's to provide alternatives, that's the 5th one. Like taking pictures, have a different rest spot, use a different kind of stove. Don't take a stove at all. Don't fall off the platform. It's like the chair tipped back a little too far for a second. So yeah, like take this mindset of the authority of the resource, the authority of the agency into the rest of this. And this will really dictate what you started getting at earlier, is like, how do I contact these visitors like in the wick or on the trail about some kind of arc? Like, oh, thanks for picking up that trash. It's actually historic trash, it should stay here. And then just start like front loading that information as best you can, and then find the solution. So take that mindset into the rest of these activities for the day. Cool. And that's what I'm hoping to get across.
Yeah.
Questions about that? Especially if you're someone who's a teacher, you know all about the authority.
I think I have a question.
Yeah.
So like, you go up to someone, you're standing next to them, you're looking at this maybe problem that has been created. If they are resistant to understanding that it's a problem, like how do you then level up to be like, well no, like let's talk about this some more. Like if there's an obvious apprehension or an obvious like distrust in what you're saying, how do you move forward?
Do you want to role play this right now?
Sure.
Cool.
We will also be doing,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll be doing more, but this is a really good one to like get us in that mindset. So come on down. You're going to be the visitor.
Okay.
I'm going to contact you in a subalpine environment. Fires are not allowed. You have made a campfire.
Okay.
The fire ring was already established, so you did not build it. You did do some gathering. You're not cooking over it. You're just using it for like warmth, enjoyment, ambiance, which is pretty much what fires are used for now. We don't typically cook over fires anymore because we have such cool stoves. So I'd be like, oh, hey, how you doing? My name's Kevin. I'm a ranger here at the park. How's your day going?
It's going well. I've got this fire going. I'm cozy.
Great. Well, that's actually why I wanted to talk to you. Actually, we are in an alpine environment, and having a fire here, it's illegal technically, but it's also really bad for the environment. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. I thought that one of the 10 essentials was, you know, fire, something to keep you warm, something to keep you safe. I've been hiking for a really long time. I was really cold, and this ring was here. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you've been hiking for a long time. It sounds like you've had a really good trip so far. Yeah, the ring was already here. Ah, that's unfortunate. So someone did it before you, and you used it. I appreciate that you're using this already impacted site, but this is a fragile environment. So what I would really like to do is first let's address your concerns. Like, let's get you warm. Do you have any good layers on you?
I have, you know, this t-shirt, these shorts. That's why I was really hoping that this fire would get me through today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm gonna say if you're already making a fire, you're probably where you want to be for the end of the day. So it's probably a good idea to put on a layer. You're probably not gonna be doing much more hiking, which is what was keeping you warm all day. So how about you throw on a layer and I'll start breaking down this campfire. I'm gonna start putting it out, and then you can come back and join me, and we'll just do it together.
Cool. All
So
right.
like, what did I do there? I addressed the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like, are you comfortable? Are you warm? Are you fed? No, you're not warm? Let's get you warm. I recognize that you're getting warm by the fire, but put a jacket on. What else did I do?
Teamwork did it. So we are doing this thing together. It's not like reprimanding. We are working towards a solution.
I briefly mentioned that this is a fragile, like, subalpine environment. I would get more into that as we start dispersing stuff. Like, the fire's dead out and drowned, and then I'm going to break down the ring. I'm going to disperse that. I'm going to get rid of the ashes and be like, this is why we do the ashes. Like, look, I'm not just going to dump it in one place. I'm going to broadcast it over a wide area, so it's not a big impact. Then we're going to cover this up with some dirt, throw some branches on it, and I would explain that whole process in the time. So I'm addressing, like, everything that I can to educate on why, and, like, usually at the very end, like, hey, do you need anything from me? Like, is this something that you're going to try and do again? Like, do you understand why that we have done this? Like, teach, do, explain, and then get that feedback to see if I made an impact.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We'll get to do much more of that.
Yeah, you'll do it together in small groups. You'll do it in front of the class, and then we can all give feedback. Like, actually, you should leave the fire there, because someone else is going to come up and do another fire, because clearly it's a ring. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. Cool.
All right. I need a layer. I'm starting to die.
Yeah, that's so chilly. I'm glad the sun's out now. We are going to do another round with each of these principles. Should I package up my muffin here? So we're going to do another round with the principles, but this time you're not going to get to all the principles. You're going to be in groups of 3 or 4. I guess we'll have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, three groups. Oh no, sorry. 4 groups of 3. Right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. I am so bad at counting right now.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11.
11. Okay, yeah. So groups of 3 and 4, and then I guess that'll spread us out over 4 principles. And what you're going to do this time is talk about, and we've already gotten to some of this, but I want you to really talk about where do you see this not only violated in the park, but also how do you see this being upheld in the park? Talk a little bit about the rules and regulations that you know of in the park, and then getting into more detail about what is the impact that this principle is having, whether it's a positive impact of upholding the principle or a negative impact of violating the principle. So really starting to put together, like Kevin was saying, those impacts that we want to be able to communicate to people. Sound good? I will figure out how to hang this up in a way that's a little more effective. But we can spread the groups out a little bit. We'll start at principle 1, principle 3, principle 4, and principle 6. And what we're going to give you a little bit more time at each principle. So you'll be able to work with your group to talk about these things. there's other paper out here, and what was the other thing I was gonna say? We're gonna give you about 5 minutes per principal, and then we'll move you on to the next one. You'll just, if you're at 1, you'll just rotate to 2. If you're at 3, you'll rotate to 4. And so we'll have time to get to 2 or 3 principals that way. Sound good? Yeah, kind of.
Back to the authority of the resource. I forgot to mention. There's only one time I've approached the party while pissed off. So that's another thing that will really help is coming up friendly and be like, how you doing today? Ellipsis. How's it?
Thanks.
Hi there, friendly neighborhood ranger here.
Huh?
I said, hi, friendly neighborhood ranger. What's up? How you doing?
So we'll have you 3 start at principal 1, you 3 start at principal 3, you 3 start at
1, 2,
principal
3.
4,
Okay, so I'm here.
and then we have 2. That seems right. Yeah, okay.
Hello. So this is a really
Yeah.
good one. This one is what lets you and me sleep at night, Don. Instead of driving the ambulance in the morning at 6
And then
a.m.
I think you and Cheyenne at principal 6.
Yeah, so this, it isn't necessarily related, I feel like, as more of it's just general unplanning and not being prepared enough, that sort of thing. And I think in recent years, there's been a really large push for preventative search and rescue
But I'm
and
amazed
stuff
by
on
the
the
size
front
of this
end
mark,
of
how little
educating
trash
folks
there
about
really
this
is
sort
to
of
pick
thing
up.
and
That's the
saying
one
like, hey,
thing.
are you carrying the
So it
tennis?
is
Does
a
somebody
large
know
part,
where
I
you
think,
are?
really
Is
being,
somebody
people are being careful. When I
expected to
see
know like,
things,
when you're gonna be doing
it's a lot of times
I
it's things
think
that probably
that push
accidentally,
Just
you know what I
yeah.
mean, got
Yeah.
dropped.
have,
I'm
like,
not
general
finding,
competency.
right. I'm not really
Like
seeing where
the
people are
wilderness
just
and that sort
leaving
of thing,
stuff
and
behind.
folks
Yeah.
knowing where you're going to be and when you're going to be back, and having a plan and sticking to that plan and not deviating has been a really large push in the past couple of years, and I'm really glad to see that numbers generally have
Well, a
gone
lot of
down.
the stuff that I see is
Search and
just,
rescue
as you
cases
said,
across the
it's
country.
a wrapper from something that they bunched and it got
I guess
away
the
from
one thing
them.
we've seen in our
A lot of times not even
driving
a whole
around,
wrapper, it's just a piece,
is
you know,
people
that
come in,
whatever
we
they
don't
tried to put back
know
in their
exactly
pocket or
where they're
something.
going when there's a crowd.
And
There's
trekking
a
pole
large amount of
baskets,
vehicles
you see
around,
those coming out.
and they stop and they start, they
Not
stop
really
and they start.
essential.
And so that there says, okay, if you had known that you were going to go to Stephen Canyon Road rather than going to Paradise, you would have saved maybe some effort and also some anger.
I don't really hike in the
Yeah,
backcountry, so
Yes.
I don't know
well,
about
that's another thing is we see these
disposal
folks
and all the
that
rest
are
of those
coming
items
from
in terms
wherever
of
they're coming from, and
where
we're like,
people
hey,
are
what do you
pooping and
have
digging
planned to do
holes
for the
and
day? And they're
whatever.
like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just am here for the day and wanted to do something. And
Where's the best hiking trail?
Yeah.
Where do I see the more flowers?
I would assume that's the case.
XYZ, and that's a yeah. Where, I mean,
Depends on your definition of backcountry.
Yeah.
And we're not really supposed to be off trail, so it's like when we're patrolling, we're not gonna see it if somebody's pooping 2 miles off trail, do you know what I mean?
Oh, I meant, sorry, I didn't mean off trail, I meant like from the trailhead.
Do you have what kind
Oh,
of
from the trail? Oh, okay, okay.
How many times do you see
go
TV
from there,
balloons?
but it is
Like, you're like, there's a bathroom.
whenever there's
You start hiking 5 minutes in, they're like, there's a TV boom, there's a TV boom,
I have no
there's a
idea
TV
what I
boom.
can do in the park. Like, what can I do here?
Yeah, and it's my assumption is because most of the people that are recreating like deep into that country do follow the principles really well. It's the new people who don't know very well.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta pee, I'm gonna go right there.
We don't have
Well,
Oh, it's gross, I don't wanna take this.
I met 4 people yesterday that were just like on Avalanche Lily all the way, you know, lower elevation. They were gonna go all the way up to Panoramic Point. And they, you know, looked at the map, there's an outhouse there. And so they're like, oh, I can wait. And I'm like, you really can't and should not wait. Please, go back to the lodge, go back to the visitor center, because that's a long trek up there. And so they did.
And that's a great contact. And you gained compliance by being like, hey, here's some advice. Here's how I'm doing it friendly. Great job.
Well, I know if it were me, I said I would not be able to make it up there, geez, that head. And those are more pleasant to use here. So.
It's, we one day.
like in theory they'll hear it and they're like, yeah, that makes sense. But then when they're out on trail, like they just kind of forget.
It's just yes. That just goes with nature that way. But you also have it's also enforced through junior rangers.
I love.
Yeah,
that's
a
like
big
one of the
thing in
bigger
junior
things I do.
That's something you can easily like as far as like things to pass on.
Also, like I was gonna say, you could deputize them and like tell them this is your honorary junior ranger badge. In the meantime, while you're on trail, I want you to remember to stay on trail, keep your family and your friends, whoever's in your group, remind them that we need to do X, Y, Z. And then when you're done with this, and if the VC is open, why don't you stop by? You can chat with the ranger about all the cool things that you protected while you were out, and that would then contribute for you getting your real junior ranger badge, and then you can become an official junior ranger. So just kind of, you're already doing it. So just encourage them to get that little junior ranger badge.
So they're like,
right. You really can, and they love it. Like what?
and they don't pay attention to what they're doing. Yeah, they can whatever they want. Like when I was up at Sunrise, there was this child and they were on like a trail and they were like, okay honey, you can go in front of that tree and you're gonna take a picture. And so they went off the trail into the meadow to stand in front of a tree, this like 3-year-old kid. And they're like, okay, and then they get to the meadow on either side. So there's a person over here in the meadow taking a picture of this kid in front of the tree, and then the other person stepped off the trail into the other meadow on the other side of the trail to, observe, but also make way in the trail for other people to pass by. And then when they were done, this kid had a stick in his hand that he had found, and he started beating this sapling, and like both of the adults in the situation just started to walk away. And I was walking up on this, and I was like, hi, excuse me, can you please not do that? You don't want to harm the tree here. And the parent turns around, they're like, oh, I was just about to tell him to do that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, please also make sure you maintain the trail and stay on the trail and not step into the make sure you're watching your But implied. Yeah, that's usually so that was something that's considered others. Right. Especially if other people did you have fun? Trees, we got sapling.
And it sounds like you approached it like really well. Like, hey, my name's this.
That's literally like the best approach. It's literally like, I'm here protecting your stuff.
Like a clear progression of like authority of the resource, authority of the agency, using those to gain compliance into like, thank you for looking at the plans instead of destroying.
Exactly. That's what you need to
the adult situation then scapegoated me. They're like, okay, honey, you can't go off onto the trail and take pictures of the trees anymore because it doesn't make any sense. And I was like, okay, great. Enjoy your hike.
This guy's going to literally be your mom and stuff like that.
Outcome, you gain compliance. If they stop, if they put their dog on the shore and assholes, they walk away like, have a great day, sure.
Right.
It's
usually one spot and it's open.
Yeah, like, it's so frustrating that they're trying to lure the chipmunks so that they can take the picture, and then they're giving us peanuts, and then basically saying that the food you're giving them is not yours, it's wildlife, and you're also habituating them to humans, that's another problem. And then I also relay that chipmunks
Some of them are informed by,
carry rabies.
in terms of being
And boy, you should see the people back away immediately.
Right. So a lot of these, I noticed yesterday when I was riding around.
But it doesn't have to be. It is, if it is even 1%, it is.
Well, it's not like the other side of the rock.
If I get beyond that, the trail, so then I tell them the story about the spots. I get it all the time in the Paradise Island, I had to train the bears to recondition them not to because they're getting run over.
I see that all the time.
So on the doing that, I don't want to be doing that.
Right, like, you love checking these guys out we love having them here. The best way to keep
Well,
them here is really just to let them be here and do their
You have the right
thing.
to say they start to go off. Or a scar, or I said, please just stay on the trail, I'll stop.
Right.
You know,
I did that yesterday too.
I did that multiple times yesterday on the way down. Because people coming up were thinking that they weren't stopping.
I said, you're okay with that.
You're good. I will still do it. Yeah.
It's not gonna be, yeah, they're gonna freak out.
Right.
Yeah, so
Trying to make them aware.
Conditioning this animal
You're going uphill.
to be okay with it. How about the next one?
This one is what I wrote, okay, in terms of use wood from the local. I have tons of firewood at home and I had to like, you know, bind my hands to not bring it with me to make a fire up here. So I said, okay, but it would be helpful if the store sold the local wood. When I go to state parks in San Juan's, they have a big dispensing machine now at Moran State Park, which I think it has been treated, and then you know you're going to pay a little bit more, but you're for sure buying the local wood. They've got a contract with somebody.
When you say the local store here, which one are you referring to?
Well, I'm talking at Longmire, right at the Longmire store, because I thought at the beginning of the season, when I started coming up, they may not have any. You know what I mean? They didn't get it yet. You know what I'm saying? Because we had snow so late. So I was thinking maybe that's why. But I stopped at the store yesterday and they still didn't have any. They didn't have any local. So it's still what I worry about with campfires, and I love a good fire. I mean, I love a good fire. I worry about the carbon effects still of just burning wood. So scientifically, what do you know about that?
It's contributive, just like everything else. It adds to it.
Except for like.
I haven't burned campfires for years, just because I'm usually in a backpack and I'm not
And then on,
gonna
like,
have a fire.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that's not a standard thing anymore. So when I see, you know, minimize campfire impacts, bring your stove and fuel, that's all you need.
Yeah, and I try to do everything like before.
Yeah, but it's the ambiance and it's the whole experience of having a campfire. But again, how much?
That doesn't make it right. But
Right. But should we not be burning at all? Is I guess the question. Should we not be burning at all because of the carbon dioxide or whatever effects of burning even locally?
And they're like, I already know that.
So,
amount of natural fires that need to occur. Yeah.
Right.
not everyone, so we didn't take everyone through every single principle. So were there any surprises? Did anyone learn anything new about any of the principles that you got to talk about? You go
Different
first.
scenarios about how to approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For which principle?
Well, for the durable one, in terms of trying to get people back on the trail that are on the meadows.
Very cool.
Maybe you can talk about like what we talked about with deputizing and the
Oh, yeah, the kids, I have a badge,
The metal stopper buttons.
metal stuff. They'll have a stick, and they want that stick really bad, and they've been carrying it for a while. I exchanged the stick for the button. The button says, I'm deputizing you to be whatever group you are, keeping everybody on the trail. They get something in exchange. I take the stick away, disperse the stick. There isn't this crying or he's taking something away from me kind of thing. That works pretty well most of the time.
Very cool. Any other surprises or new things that came up?
We were kind of stuck for a little while on the efficacy of campfires. I mean, is it carbon footprints and all that? I mean, the dangers of fire certainly, but then even burning the wood, is that something that we should be doing or shouldn't be doing as a society? So we didn't come up with real answers, but just kind
I'm
of.
glad you discussed it. It's honestly a conversation I am hoping to have with REI this year about whether or not we should continue teaching people how to build fires in our wilderness survival classes. Yeah.
Well, we have a friend you should teach.
Yeah.
He smokes a lot.
Yeah.
Doesn't burn.
I just had a conversation with the science department at work.
Yeah.
And they said, because we rent out fire pits for s'more usage and stuff, And I agree. I was like, okay, the amount of pollution that we're creating by burning the fire and releasing the carbon, blah, blah, blah. And she said, the science is now looking like it's not a significant impact, and it doesn't matter if we burn fire for those kinds of events.
Sure.
Research is still out. I still say if you can cook with a stove, it's better. But, I mean, as I said earlier, what's the use of campfires now? It's not to cook. It's not even for warmth. It's just for like,
Ambiance.
yeah, a social aspect.
The issue that we have here at Mount Rainier is air quality. If you've ever walked through the Yohanapakash campground in midsummer, it's hard to breathe sometimes.
Wow. Travels through our apartment windows, and you have to keep your windows open, and my whole room just smells like camp smoke or hot dogs. And I'm just like, why?
Oh, wow.
I'm kind of okay with hot dogs.
That's area.
But then think about the other side. Like, we as professional outdoor people, we experience a lot of the campfire, a lot of the smoke, so like, we're tired of it. But a lot of the people that are coming out don't have fireplaces, don't have access to have that experience. And like, growing up, like, every one of us was like, we read stories, we went camping as a kid, we watch movies, whatever, and there's always like, and they sat around the campfire at night and dozed off under the stars. So people are coming out to get that experience because it's still a part of the, like, the American outdoor psyche.
The lore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I digress.
No worries.
I started.
And yeah, have a lot to think about with that for sure. Cool. Our next move is to transition to taking these conversations you just had and turning them into ways to communicate with the park goers, and applying a lot of the authority of the resource communication principles that Kevin shared, which I have now written on a large piece of paper, so we can prop that up. But yeah, anything else that you feel like the rest of the group should hear that came out of your conversations?
So not necessarily like groundbreaking by any means. It's something that I forget to remind myself of. So Cheyenne wrote Know Your Limitations and Plan Ahead, and we talked about how I have asthma, so before I go out on any hike, I use my inhaler just to like build capacity. And oftentimes we focus on the 10 essentials, although we are at 10 plus essentials, and that plus is, things that you need to factor into yourself and your limitations. So do you have medication that you need? Do you know how your body typically reacts to being in high elevations, to hiking for a long time, to being in the heat? And I feel like when you're in a big group, maybe with folks that you don't know super well, or if it's a work party, a volunteer party, you might feel kind of apprehensive about elevating some of these concerns to saying like, hey guys, I need to take a break, or I need extra water, or I can't go as fast, and just encouraging folks to feel empowered to really speak up for themselves before the problem arises. So yeah, that in planning ahead and preparing for yourself before you head out with a group or by yourself.
I'm so glad you brought that up. We also preach that on our REI programs as self-advocacy, and so I always, before I take a group out, I always frame it as please practice the same type of communication here on this trip that we hope that you would practice on your own outings and your own trips. And so definitely trying to build that culture of where it's okay to self-advocate and express your limitations. And also, know when to challenge yourself, but also when not to challenge yourself. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. Great. We're going to mix up the groups a little bit. So I'll have, because I'm having trouble keeping track of who is just with who, I'll have you all shuffle yourselves into 4 groups again. Yes.
I think you said there would be a 10-minute break at some point.
Yes.
Is that going to happen at some point soon?
Yes, actually, yeah. So let's do it. Let's do it
Yeah.
now. Now is actually when we were thinking of doing it anyway.
Okay.
So let's do.
Thank you for advocating for yourself.
Thank you.
My ability to